Jean-Jacques Rousseau, 1712–1778, was once a Swiss-born French philosopher. His most influential political work was Once the Social Contract, 1762, which promoted the perfect of a greater egalitarian republicanism. His philosophy had a direct effect on the French and American Revolution. Rousseau was once a unique thinker and challenged the orthodox non-secular and political views of the day. For his controversial criticism of set-up religion, his works had been regularly banned, and he sought exile in special European countries. He was once additionally a musician and lover of nature. Due to the fact of his freedom of spirit and thought, he is regarded an influential discern of the European Enlightenment and a precursor of Romanticism. Early life. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was once born on June 28, 1712, in Geneva. His mom died of fever 9 days later. At the time, Geneva used to be a Calvinist city-state ruled, in theory, via democracy, however in exercise via a small quantity of wealthy families. Growing up in Geneva, Rousseau would have been uncovered to the tensions between one-of-a-kind thoughts for a mannequin city-state. He regularly spoke favorably for Geneva as a mannequin for an perfect state. His father was once a clockmaker, however when Rousseau used to be 10 years old, his father was once compelled to depart the city, leaving Rousseau and his brother at the back with relatives. Rousseau won a rudimentary training earlier than turning into an apprentice to a notary and engraver. However, his apprenticeship used to be a sad one, and after discovering the gates of Geneva closed after curfew, he left the metropolis and wandered to close-by Savoy. Conversion to Catholicism. After leaving Geneva, Rousseau used to be lucky to come below the training of Françoise Louise de Warens, age 29, a Catholic noblewoman of Protestant background. De Warens was once a bold persona, dishonest her husband out of cash to end up an evangelist for changing younger Protestant guys to Catholicism. She had a gregarious nature, a first-rate entertainer, lover of music, literature and a profligate spender. For a time, de Warens and Rousseau additionally grew to be lovers. With the backing of de Warens, Rousseau grew to be nicely versed in philosophy, music, arithmetic and different subjects. In 1739, Rousseau got here into an inheritance and moved to Lyon, earlier than transferring to Paris in 1742. In 1745, he met Therese Levasseur, a laundry maid. She grew to become his lover, buddy and later wife. Rousseau stated they had 5 children, however all had been left at an orphanage, something he later admitted to regretting. In Paris, he grew to become a chef collaborator with Denis Diderot, and the two grew to become main intellectuals of the day. They hosted the influential journal Encyclopedia. Their writings have been radical and anti-clerical. Rousseau's writings stood out for its forceful and fascinating style. Rousseau was once also a great musician. He attempted to promote a new gadget of numbered musical notation to the Académie des Sciences. His device used to be rejected, although he used to be presented reward for his mastery of the subject. Rousseau used to be additionally a composer, and his works had been warmly obtained by way of King Louis XV. Rousseau may want to possibly have won employment as a court docket composer for the king, however an increasing number of felt the barrenness of worldly life. In particular, he was once drawn to the attention of how worldly achievements and riches may want to without problems corrupt the higher nature of man. This may want to have been partly due to his Calvinist upbringing, however additionally the seen proof of the stark inequality in modern-day French society. His pal Diderot used to be imprisoned for his anti-clerical writings, and this galvanized him in addition to think about philosophical questions. It was once whilst strolling to go to his buddy in detention center that he later reporting having a sudden, illuminating thought. That man is naturally good, and that it is from these establishments by myself that guys grow to be wicked. In 1750 he posted a discourse on the sciences and the arts. It used to be an essay on how civilization may want to have an effect on human beings. It received first prize from the Academy of Dijon and gave him developing reputation. status of man was once rejected with the aid of Catholicism and specifically Calvinism, which emphasized the sinful nature of man. Music. In the 1750s, the Italian opera agency got here to Paris. The special Italian fashion stood in distinction to hooked-up French opera. The French opera was once extra-classical in shape, emphasizing the significance of concord and adherence to ordinary rules. Italian opera broke with these formal rules, putting melody and the preeminence of the musical spirit above classical expectations. Rousseau admired Italian opera and grew to become its best exponent in the course of the sturdy debate with French-tuned traditionalists. To Rousseau, his defense of Italian opera sprang from musical taste, however additionally a philosophic desire for inventive expression over rules. This can be considered as an underlying function of the later Romantic period, which prioritized creative spirit over classical traditions. Rousseau wrote one opera La Devon du Village, which was once acquired with acclaim. Mozart later primarily based the textual content of his operetta Bastin und Baschen on it. But, Rousseau was once extra worried with his work as an ethical truth-seeker and wrote no greater operas. At this stage, he started out to fall out with his former pals at the Encyclopedista. While fellow encyclopedistas have been usually materialistic and atheistic, Rousseau used to be increasingly more connected to his faith in the divinity of man's soul and the universe. In 1754, he again to Geneva, renouncing his Catholicism and returning to his unique Calvinist religion. He used to be welcomed again due to the fact of his literary fame. He took his lover Sophie Caudetot, a French noblewoman, pretending she used to be his nurse. Important works. In 1761, Rousseau posted a romantic novel Julie, ou la Nouvelle Hello Eyes. It used to be set in the lovely French Alps and touched on topics of sin, temptation and redemption. Behind the novel, Rousseau wished to discover troubles of private authenticity, and the significance of rejecting false social norms. It was once a publishing sensation, and it has been recommended as the best-selling ebook of the 18th century. Over 70 variants had been in print earlier than the cease of the century, and Rousseau grew to be a celeb author, receiving ecstatic critiques from readers, who grew to become deeply invested in the characters and ethical dilemmas of the book. Social Contract 1762. Man is born free, and in all places he is in chains. Those who suppose themselves the masters of others are certainly increased slaves than they. Economie politique, discourse on political economy. The Social Contract was once Rousseau's most vital political work, constructing on his until now discourse on inequality. 1754, it offers a framework for classical republicanism. Rousseau attacked the social contract of Hobbes,